स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतङ्गमय। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from unreal to the real, to lead us from darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. Today's topic: dynamic teachings of Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda's advent is very unique. His life itself is his dynamic teaching. From the date of his birth and to the last, what tremendous self-sacrifice, what tremendous courage, what tremendous spiritual strength, what tremendous compassion, tremendous love. If we dwell upon these most fine qualities in Swamiji's life, we find how they are remarkably dynamic, how they influence us deeply. Only we must look into his life properly, think about his teachings with all earnestness, then surely we become remarkable disciples of Swami Vivekananda. He was not a single kind of man, but he was a totality of mankind in one. That is, the potential of mankind realized in human flesh. That is Vivekananda. How much experience he had in his life under the masterly guidance and directions of Sri Ramakrishna, Vivekananda realized all the qualities of the universal man to the maximum degree. Here is a person who is truly called a universal. It is he who declared, I belong not only to India, but the whole world. So his love expanded not merely to India, his love engulfed the whole universe. He filled up the whole universe with his most fascinating and wonderful teachings. He loved man. He lived for the sake of man. He dedicated his whole life for the emancipation of man. That is Swami Vivekananda. If an ordinary person with a single track of mind is compared to flashlight or at most searchlight that send out a single beam in one direction. Swami Vivekananda was not like a flashlight. He was not like searchlight, but he was like the sun himself, shining in all directions at once. That is Vivekananda. If you read his life thoroughly, you will see how you get transformation in your life. To our single track minds, Swami Vivekananda may appear contradictory because he has said so many things. He has touched upon all the subjects in the universe. He has dealt with all the matters. He could probe into any of the things in this world. Nothing was secret to him. So he could give out the best in everything. But to understand Vivekananda, you have to study him completely, and then only you will have the whole idea about Swami Vivekananda. So in him all these contradictions are only seeming contradictions, complementary qualities and meanings, not outright logical contradictions. So he lived and taught not one particular path or one particular yoga and said, look, you practice only this. Everything else is not true. Everything else is useless. It is futile. He never said that. He never said that. He gave due consideration to all the paths, to all the yogas, and he declared that all these yogas certainly take man to the supreme goal. So, he did not teach any one path or yoga exclusively, not even one path predominantly, but all paths in one. He was just like Sri Ramakrishna in his teachings. Sri Ramakrishna, as I said in my prayers, is the embodiment of all religions. All religions merge in him. All religions lead towards him. Who is he? The same Paramatman, the same God. Just like sun shining in America, shining in Russia, shining in China, shining in India, it is one and the same sun. But for our practical purposes, we say American sun, Indian sun, Russian sun, China's sun. Any number of suns you can multiply. But all these suns refer to the same sun. That is exactly what Sri Ramakrishna taught. That Sri Ramakrishna's unique message was given to the whole mankind by Swami Vivekananda. And Vivekananda is a person who had the final experience in all these paths. He was a master yogi, karma yogi, bhakta yogi, jnana yogi, and dhyana yogi. Anything he would do, perfect, excellent, wonderful. That's why Swamiji's teachings are so fascinating. He did not slight one path for another. He was not lacking in reason. He was not lacking in emotion. He was not lacking in action. He was not lacking in meditation. But he taught to the whole humanity, to the whole world, the equal practice of all four paths, as far as such practice is possible for each individual. And in him, this practice became the absolute fusion of the four paths into one. It is so nice to meditate upon Swami Vivekananda's life and works. If you want to enjoy spiritual happiness, read Swami Vivekananda. When you are reading Vivekananda, his life and works, till you complete the reading of his literature, till that period, never deviate your mind or thoughts to any other way. Because as and when you keep on reading Swami Vivekananda, you get a momentum. You get more concentrated on the personality that should not be disturbed by diverting your attention to other things. Suppose you take 2 months or 3 months to read the whole literature. Those 3 months you should not look into any other reading. I am not telling from the fanatical point of view, I am only telling you to, in order to fully concentrate upon what you are reading, to fully meditate upon what Swami Vivekananda is teaching. Then you will understand what Swami Vivekananda is. So, he has blended all these 4 yogas in such a way. Each one is wonderful. It is so nice to be a good karma yogi. And it is so nice equally to be a good karma yogi, jnana yogi and all these yogas. How nice it is to be a master yogi. Even the conception is so nice to feel about. So the sum and substance of all these yogas, Swami Vivekananda has given very nicely. Reason without love is dry. What a wonderful statement. Reason without action is impractical. Reason without meditation is ineffectual. See how nice it is to elaborate on these fine aphorisms of Swami Vivekananda. So one could go through each path showing how each lacks something essential if the others are missing. So, like a 4-faced divinity, Brahma is called Chaturmukh Brahm. The creator of the universe has got 4 faces. He looked in all directions at once. He was a whole man and taught others to be whole. As I said earlier, meditating on him, dwelling on his life and teachings itself is dynamic. There was an air of divinity about him. Everyone who would be near him, who could see him, who could talk to him, immediately feel that divine vibration spreading around him. That means once you saw him, you would love to see him again and again. Once you hear him, you love to hear him again and again. That is called divine attraction. That is called divine power. Swami Vivekananda was poised thunderbolt forever, humming an immortal song like a murmuring stream. He radiated this singing power as the sun shines. It made his abstract intellectual teachings visible, almost palpable. So whenever he would speak of soul and of God, people immediately would feel a kind of immense joy and peace on hearing these teachings from him. Swami Vivekananda was a divine incarnation, as were Sri Ramakrishna and Holy Mother. Every day and every moment, Swami Vivekananda proved this to his companions, his friends, his bearers, hearers and disciples. He used his divine powers only for the good of mankind. His whole personality was full of love and compassion. After Buddha, it's only in Vivekananda we see such total manifestation of love and compassion. It is that love that prompted him to come to America and deliver the dynamic teachings of Vedanta. He was ready to help anyone, irrespective of caste, color, race. He admonished superstitions. He disliked fanaticism, bigotry. To him, religion means the manifestation of divinity. To him, religion is intensely practical, not simply theory, not simply talking. No. It should be being and becoming. It is part and parcel of your life. Religion, in the true sense, is nothing but the manifestation of divine quality. That potential divinity is in every one, man or woman. We have forgotten that nature, so we are always in trouble. Always. Please remember that. Even though you may live in a palace, even though you live in a forest, even though you live amidst most fascinating lakes, still you are not happy until and unless you realize your true divine nature. The potential divinity in you must be opened up, must be allowed to sprout and spread and grow. Then only the darkness of ignorance can be destroyed. The darkness can be destroyed only by bringing the light, not by any method. Bringing the light instantly removes darkness. So awakening yourself to that potential divinity already in you makes you remarkably peaceful and happy. That very moment, all the darkness of ignorance completely disappear. So, when man had realized the truth, he gives expression to that realization in so many ways. Always he wants to help, he wants to love all the creatures. Adveshta sarvabhutanam maitraha karuna evacha nirmamo nirahankaraha. What fine qualities of a person who has realized the truth. Adveshta sarvabhutanam, hates none. Even if he hates one single creature on this earth, it means his realization is not complete. Maitraha, the whole world is his friend. He likes to help. He likes to be a true friend to the whole world. Karuna evacha, full of compassion, compassion to the brim. There is nothing but compassion. Such a person, wherever he goes, naturally, people are fortunate to come under his direction. So whatever they do, is an act of blessing. And they always try to help. They feel everyone is their own. What Holy Mother said, my dear person, no one in this world is a stranger. What a fine statement it is. We feel we are strangers because of the ignorance. Once that ignorance is gone, you feel very closeness. You feel very closeness. That closeness of spirit you feel because of the realization of the Atman, the true divine nature. One day, in Chicago, in the year 1894, in the month of March, a French opera singer, Emma Cave, a French lady, she went to see Swami Vivekananda. It was an extraordinary meeting in every way. If you read that episode in Vivekananda's works, you will be thrilled. How the most depressed person who tried to commit suicide number of times, who thought she was completely collapsed, who underwent tremendous crisis in her life, who felt unbearable pain, such a person was saved. Not only saved, she was transformed into a higher life just by the meeting of Vivekananda. How Vivekananda could transform her through the most wonderful power of love. That is the beauty of pure love. Love where there is no selfishness, where there is no trace of selfishness, that's called pure love. That love, Vivekananda gave to her. That love healed all her pains. Not only healed, all the confusion, tensions, worries, depressions, sufferings, all these things were just rooted out. So, the most latest tragedy she underwent in her life was untimely accidental death of her daughter by fire. So she could not bear that anymore. Somebody suggested, why not she go and meet Vivekananda, who had come from India, whose spiritual power was so impressive. Why could she not go and meet him so that she could be helped in some way? So, as I said earlier, several times she tried to drown herself in the lake. Several times. But some unseen power seemed to turn her steps toward the house where Swami was staying. Every time she would go to drown herself in the lake, the thought would come, why not I meet Swami Vivekananda once? So she would come to the place where Swami Vivekananda lived. But it so happened every time she came, she went away without ringing the bell. Finally, she determined she must meet him, whatever it might be. Let it be a last meeting, whatever it is. So though she came several times, she was very hesitant to go inside. But finally she came and she pressed the bell, it began to ring. And she was in a very terrible agitation mood. Just she dashed into the room where Swami Vivekananda was sitting at his desk. Swami Vivekananda did not raise his eyes. Just without even seeing her, Swami Vivekananda addressed, "Come in, my child. Come in. Don't be afraid. What a troubled atmosphere you have about you. Be calm. Be calm. It is essential." And he addressed her as a child. And he told her many things which nobody else would know, only she would know. He didn't know even her name. before. So when she came to know how Vivekananda could know all these things, she was amazed. So Vivekananda's advice to her was to be cheerful. He said, don't brood over this sorrow. Try to build up your health. Transmute your emotions into some form of eternal expression. And Swamiji's personality, Swamiji's words of love and compassion had tremendous effect upon her. She felt she was completely transformed. The next moment, she was remarkably cheerful, and all the sufferings had been removed from her heart. So she was really saved in every respect. And she could live her life very well afterwards without any problem. Madam Cave, she herself has said, she was changed immediately and permanently. She said she soon became peaceful and she became really happy. One important point here for us to note is that Swami Vivekananda did not find fault with her. He did not condemn her. He did not tell, oh, you have committed all sorts of sins, you are useless, worthless, stupid, idiot, etc. He never said these things. He never even said to her to give up her operatic career. She was a dancer. On the other hand, Swami Vivekananda told her to spiritualize her way of life, spiritualize her art. That's the way how Swami Vivekananda brought transformation in her life. So, Swami Vivekananda put out the raging storm of her grief as water puts out fire. All these things he could do only by his tremendous love. Swami Vivekananda gave the vision of God to all who could take it, as much as the small vessels of finite minds could hold. He poured out God in abundance, as a person pours out tea from a pot into cups. Swamiji poured God all over the world, on everyone's head. Words were the smallest part of his message. Throughout his life, he fought against the demons of ignorance and prejudice. He slew them right and left wherever he met them. Swami Vivekananda came to conquer, and conquer the West he did, winning it for the establishment of the cultivation of Vedantic ideas from London to San Francisco. For the first time, the most sublime teachings of Vedanta were given to the people in the West. So, the first salvo of shots in this conquest of the West was fired at the Parliament of Religions at the World's Fair in Chicago in 1893. Those speeches at the Parliament were short ones, but they were so effective. They laid down the essence of his whole message to the West. The very first utterance at the Parliament, "Dear sisters and brothers of America," was most attractive to the whole audience. They stood up and gave tremendous applause. For the first time, they were seeing a person addressing them as dear sisters and brothers. He really felt them to be. So out of his infinite love and compassion, he addressed them that way. That spiritual power they could taste for the first time in that meeting. So, that was the first teaching of spirituality which they got from Vivekananda. That was really remarkable, to feel that everyone is sister and brother. And so he opened up the hearts of people there. He awakened in them the spiritual glory. And he told them to expand. Expansion is life. Contraction is death. So he took all the pains to impart the spiritual teachings to the people who are completely unknown to these spiritual ideas. Swami Vivekananda said in one of the meetings there at the Parliament, sectarianism, bigotry, and fanaticism, these have long possessed this beautiful earth. The effect was violence, leading to bloodshed, leading to destruction of civilizations. But now The time has come. Swamiji said, I fervently hope. So, he sounded the main theme of his message at the famous Parliament of Religions, the unity of religions, Sarva Dharma Samanvaya, which Sri Ramakrishna demonstrated in his own life, practiced all religions, realized the truth in every one of them, and then declared there should be peace and harmony among us religions. It is foolishness to quarrel and hate in the name of religion. About religious bigotry, Swamiji gave a parable about a frog in a well who met a frog from the sea. The frog in the well could not believe the sea was bigger than his well. That is the apt symbol for religions and cultural bigotry. So, finally, he clarified the people about the teachings of Hinduism. What has happened was nobody could give the fundamentals of Hinduism in a proper way as Swami Vivekananda did. He said Hinduism is a vigorous and all-inclusive religion that has absorbed and assimilated all the separate sects that have existed in India from time to time immemorial. The second point he said was, there is no conflict between Hinduism and science, though people think that way. In fact, Sri Ramakrishna himself, when he practiced religion, when he became the priest of Dakshineshwar temple, when he started worshipping Divine Mother Kali and began to practice all the disciplines required, he seriously meant he must see God in this very life. He fixed that goal. He never desired anything other than this. His whole mind was given to the spiritual practices. All his energy was used up in that way. He began to address Divine Mother. O Mother, people say, people means the sages, say that the supreme power, the divine power, is residing in you. And you are present, that divine power, protecting the whole universe, looking after the needs of all the people. That supreme consciousness is in this image which I am
beginning to worship. If you are really present in this image, you must be revealed. I must see you. You must reveal yourself to me. I must talk to you. I must know the truth in letter and spirit. I must know that this image is not simply an idol. This is the place, this is the image where God manifests its power. So I should see the power of the divine in this image. If you are really there, if all the sages say that you are present in this universe, in this image, I must see you. I am prepared to practice all disciplines required. So with that reasoning, he began to practice. Then he did realize, after long practices, when the whole mind was saturated with the spiritual thought, finally he got the vision of the Divine Mother. So he could tell very emphatically, it's only to concentrate your attention, to focus properly, the image worship is introduced. So there is no conflict between religion and science. Reasoning has its value. So Swamiji, thus we find, gave out many ideas to the people. He awakened literally all the hearts of the people. He made them aware of their spiritual glory, and he told them in unmistakable terms to wipe out all types of weaknesses. You are suffering because of your weakness. You have no faith in God because of your weakness. You have no interest in spiritual life because of your weakness. You are terribly weak in every respect. As long as you are weak, so long you should suffer. Simply telling I must be peaceful, I must be happy, will not make you peaceful and happy unless you remove the root. Remove the root, then the tree of weakness will die. It will have its natural death. Removing the weakness is important. Always assert your strength. It's already there. It is covered up by the veil of weakness. But you must meditate upon strength. Abhihi, abhihi. That is the famous teaching of Upanishad. Abhihi means be fearless. Even if you have to die, die like a hero. Don't die like a coward. Die like a hero. Anyway you have to die. Face the death courageously, boldly. What is death after all? You're just throwing your body, that's all. That is the meaning of death. Just like throwing this garment. When the garment becomes old, when you feel bored, oh, I am wearing this since 1 month, let it, even though it looks very clean, it looks very neat and clean, even though it looks very beautiful, attractive, Still I got bored. Let me throw it away. Let me have another one. It is just like that. Why you are clinging to the body, even if you are aged 90 or 95 years, still you want to cling to the life. Why that clinging? Because of ignorance, because of weakness, because of fear. You don't know what will happen after death. That dirty fear is the root of everything. Once that fear is gone, you are your true self. So we are born in this world to fight the weakness, not for building homes and constructing bridges and constructing roads and doing this, that, etc. All these things will go. They go and they come and go. You have used all your energy, you have used all your resources in doing all those external things, but you have neglected yourself completely. You are not able to build your own self. You are destroying yourself, you are destroying your life, destroying everything. So, what else but suffering? What else? So be strong. Be strong. Strength is what Upanishads speak to me from every age. This is the one thing to remember. It has been the one great lesson I have been taught in my life. Strength. It says strength. O man, be not weak. So what we do, we allow the weakness to grow. So by thinking more and more about weakness, we become more and more weak, more and more useless. So when you become utterly weak, you are dead as though you are living. That's the worst part of weakness. Amritasya putraha. You are all immortal children. That's the another wonderful teaching of Vedanta. You are always present. There is no death for you. Death and birth are for the body. For the body. When you say, my body, I am living so fine. My mind is so fine. My heart is so good. My liver is functioning properly. My eyes are looking well, etc., etc. All this when you are telling, that means you have got some separateness. You are inside the body. In fact, the Upanishads tells you, Narayana Sukta, a famous hymn in the Upanishad, it tells you the consciousness dwells in your heart in the form of light. In the form of light. It is there, Jyoti. You can see it. The Upanishad says, you can see it. How? By meditating on it, by concentrating on it, by diverting all your mind, putting the whole mind on it. Once you see that light, your goal is reached. Then no more weakness, no more trace of weakness will be there. You are completely free from all kinds of weakness. Once the light is there, where is the question of darkness? Tell me. Quite opposite. Just like that. When you are aware of your strength, all fear is gone. Gone forever. Then you are supremely peaceful and blissful. So, my friends, Swami Vivekananda says, as one of your blood, as one that lives and dies with you. Let me tell you that we want strength, strength, and every time strength. And the Upanishads are the great mine of strength. Therein lies strength enough to invigorate the whole world. The whole world can be vivified, made strong, energized through them. They will call with trumpet voice upon the weak, the miserable, and the downtrodden of all races, all creeds, and all sects to stand on their feet and be free. Freedom, physical freedom, mental freedom, and spiritual freedom are the watchwords of the Upanishads. What I want is muscles of iron and nerves of steel, inside which dwells a mind of the same material as that of which the thunderbolt is made. Strength, manhood, kshatra virya, Brahma Tejas. That's what is needed. So, the most dynamic message given by Swami Vivekananda is this strength. All power is within you. You can do anything and everything. Believe in that. Do not believe that you are weak. Do not think that you are half crazy lunatics, as most of us believe nowadays. You can do everything without even the guidance of anyone. So, this is Swami Vivekananda. He has given 4 yogas. All these lectures on yoga were given in the West. Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, all this. They are available in separate books. Read them, understand them, practice them, and live the life. So with these words I conclude my talk. Thank you. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavagai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavagai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. May the Divine Lord protect us. May He nourish us. May we work in harmony with great vigor. May our study be illuminating and fruitful. May we not hate each other. Peace, peace, peace be unto all.